Alrighty.
Working.
Just going to make sure we are live. Yep, we are there. Hello, everybody. Okie doke. So I am here for session 2 in the Summit to Success Your Way with Nikky Doualle. She is one of my favorite people. I absolutely love Nikky. And we are going to be here talking together today about how to maximize your business, balancing the masculine and feminine energies. I've been working with Nikky one-to-one since April, I think. And she's just
last year even.
Yeah, last year even. I've been coaching her since last year, and it has been absolutely amazing to watch her growth. This woman is a woman on a mission. She has a beautiful movement, and please do go ahead and introduce yourself, Nikky.
Hannah, I'm so thankful to be here next to you for your summit. I'm very happy to be able to share some of my story. And yeah, as you can tell, I'm French. This is where my accent comes from. So I'm a French woman, but I lived 15 years in America. So you should understand my English.
Your English is beautiful.
So I'm a business mentor and a success mentor. My goal is really to help coaches, therapists, mentors, experts, leaders, conscious leaders, to really build a sustainable business. And I like it fast because that's how I've done it for myself. And this is my field. This is where I'm playing. And yeah, and we've been working, I know you since a year, actually, almost a year now. It would be a year in 15 days. So
I love that.
yeah.
I love that. Yeah, it's been beautiful working with you. So your business has grown really, really quickly. And that, as you said, is not for everybody. What were the biggest challenges in this fast growth for you?
Before the growth, or when I started to realize what to do in order to
let's start at the beginning. So
yeah,
your business started, you've just celebrated your first year of business. Tell everybody a little bit about, the struggles and the challenges you faced before you even got started.
Yeah. So before I got started last year in my business, I was I was not doing so well in my business because I was learning a lot. Actually, I was learning from other business people in America. I was learning even ClickFunnels. I was learning funnels and digital marketing and attraction marketing, and thinking that would be the key to sell my offers and to have success in my business. And what I reached was burnout. I had a really bad burnout, and it was terrible because I was like, "Whoa, I don't understand why I'm working hard on my business, but I don't have the success that I deserve." I was like, I deserve the success for all those hours I'm working in.
Yeah.
And no, it was hard. It was terrible. It was actually, it was so hard that I was completely depressed and I don't know how to say, but I'm sure the people are listening here, they've been there, it's just before you understand the switch, And at the time I was only in my masculine energy, but the wrong one, the one you push into the action and just push hard. But I didn't have any good result. And my body was tired and my soul was tired and everything was difficult. And even my surroundings, like I tried a difficult situation around me, like, I don't know, like dramas, like argues with partner or with family. And I was like, gosh, my life is a nightmare, So it was hard. That part was the worst part of my life, definitely.
Yeah. And so then you were aware, though, that you wanted to make a change. You knew that things weren't working for you in the way that you were doing it. And then you made a switch. You totally switched up everything. Tell everyone a little bit about this new groove that you found.
Well, the groove I found, it found me, actually. I didn't find it. I was fortunate by universe to be served into that. Actually, a year before that, my mother passed away, and that was also hard for me because we were very close to each other, and it's still hard today, obviously. But so I was completely down, and I had you know, my business was not working and I was tired and I was sad and had all this negativity world. And I wanted to give up. Like I reached very dark point in my life where I said, okay, well, maybe this life is over for me, and maybe this is not for me. Maybe I've done what I was supposed to do, you know, because I had been, how do you say, I had been working on yachts, traveling around the world, you know, I had quite a life, even though it was into resistance and pushing hard, but I've done so many great things. But and that was the end for me. I was like, oh, I have enough of this life, and maybe it's time for me to go. So I reached a point where I wanted to end my life. And that's the saddest part of my story, is like, I said, okay, you know, I'm going to my mom's house and I'm going to end my life. I've done what I needed to do. And I was so depressed, and it was a completely nightmare. And then on Facebook, some guy had a message that was obviously perfect for me about what I was going through. And I started to send him a message and communicate with him. He was French. And yeah, this is how it started. That was my turning point, because when I met the guy, he was a therapist into working with hypnotherapy for my subconscious programs that were very not so good at the time. And he told me, he said, yeah, don't worry, I know what you're going through, I can help. And I was like, yeah, sure, you can help. You know, you just want to sell your program to me. You know, I was like, but I so don't care anymore about my life that whatever, you know, take my money, let's do this, but I don't believe it. And actually he changed my life. He did. So that was the first step into taking care of something else outside. I mean, like, not my body, but more about my brain, subconscious part, my mind, my energy. So I started to do the work with the guy. And then during the work, after we cleanse all, we call it my garbage, you know, I had garbage program in my head. He said that you're not happy. I was in Paris at the time. And he said, you're not happy in Paris. Where would you like to be? And I said, oh, if I could choose, I'll go to Bali for sure. And he said, well, why don't you go? And I was like, yeah, it's true. Why am I staying in Paris if I don't like it? So the week after, during our session, I said, oh, I got a visa. I'm going to Bali in February. And then in February, there was COVID. So I was postponed a little bit, but I managed still to go. And yeah, and I've done work with, when I arrived in Bali, I started to connect with my feminine energy. And the saddest part of my story is that I didn't even know what was masculine energy, feminine energy. I thought I was a woman, so I'm feminine, but I had
for everybody watching, could you describe for anybody, because, you know, for those that are in the know, it's kind of obvious, but if you're not in the know and you don't understand it, could you explain to people, what is this feminine and masculine energy?
Well, the way I explain it to me is like, the masculine energy is everything that is about doing, taking action, making happen. This is very, actually, it's a physical, actually. And the feminine energy is more about receiving, attracting, being. So it's doing versus being. But as a human being, we have both, you know, we do have both energy, like masculine and feminine energy. But me, I didn't know anything about that. I thought I was just, actually, I realized I was only my masculine energy. And that's why I was tired, because I was never, you know, relaxing, never taking time for myself. And women's circle, what the hell are they doing in those circles? You know, it must be like chit chat and headaches. I'm not going there. And actually, when I arrived in Bali, I completely shifted, because I started to play. I started to try things out. I was like, oh, stop being stubborn, Nikky. Just go play. Just go experience. So I was immersed in Bali in only my feminine energy. So that's the funny part. I was in my masculine energy. And that was before I started my business. I was in my masculine energy. And then I was like, oh, I hate this. This is almost kill me. This is almost. So I was like against it, which is not the best. It's not the right way to be, just to let you know. And then I switched into my feminine energy. So I was like into women's circle and experiencing a lot of things. I was in Bali. And I was like, oh, I love it. I'm so happy. But then I forgot my masculine energy. So I was just being, you know, I forgot about my doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, and then, I met more people that helped me to understand that we need to balance both of it. You can't be only in your yang or in your yin.
Yeah.
So you need to match both. And I was like, oh, okay. So this is what I've done. I've realized the importance of the harmony in my being,
mm-hmm.
of having both masculine and feminine energy without knowing where it would take me. And of course, in my business, without knowing where it would take me. And that was it. You know, after that time, I was like, okay, I'm going to balance this in my life. I was more focused about both.
So what advice would you give to somebody who can really resonate with this? So like, yeah, I can feel I'm like either too heavily in the masculine, just doing, which was me as well. I burned out a few years ago. I was just and that was before I even really had an appreciation of the masculine and feminine energies. I was just like, work hard and I will get good results. Yeah. And then there are other people who are very floaty and just loads of ideas and there's no structure at all. What advice would you give to somebody that knows that they are either too heavily in one of those? What practical advice can you give them about how to balance their energies?
Well, for me, the best advice ever when you have something that is not balanced in your life is to take a mentor, an expert in the field, because if they can financially, obviously they will switch rapidly. And this is what I've done. And this is how we met. And for me, it was important to learn from someone who apparently at the time, to me, implemented both. And it was good to have someone can show me the way, because I like it. I like to have my coaches, and this is how but not everybody can afford it. So I would say the first advice I could give is to take your agenda, open Google Calendar, and put all your must do. So if you're a mother, you must take the kids to school, or on Wednesday you are with, so put the kids, put the husband and the date in the middle of the week with your husband, and the weekend also with the family, and start to implement blocks of time. So for the people that are too much in the yang, and a lot of women are in the yang because they have to take care of the family, they take care of their husband, they have to run their business, they have to take care of the house. So a lot of women naturally fall into that, unfortunately. So for those women, I would bring blocks of time. It could be, I think 20 minutes is easy to add, you know, like in the morning, first thing in the morning when everybody's sleeping, or in the evening before falling asleep, or even during, if you are driving, if you are traveling. And so in this time, you can add yin stuff. Like yin could be, what I like to do is guided meditation, because I have no patience to do guided meditation. Unguided, not guided meditation. I need someone to talk to me. So like just to chill and listen to something that makes me feel good. It could be take a bath, put some yin stuff, go to the hairdresser. That's my favorite. Go to the hairdresser because they give you massage. So nice. And I let go, or 20 minutes without a phone, if you're addicted to your phone, you know, anything like this for yin energy to bring. And for the women that are too much into, you take the same, you need to implement into your agenda, in your weekly agenda, time to be in the yang energy. Take a mentor, or start to put more strict, because it's hard for those women, I know, because I'm coaching them, naturally to bring structure into their field where they are very highly connected to spirit or into their gift. It's very hard to by yourself implement structure, because it's like, oh, what is this language? You know what? They will find resistance, you know, into implementing this. So best advice is always to take a coach for me, always, because I like to do things fast. So
and in terms of, let's talk about this like speed at which, so you flipped, you kind of, you did the work, And the guy that she did the work with in Bali is amazing. Nikki recommended him to me and he was incredible. I did a lot of work with him too. So you did the work. And then there was just this appreciation of, okay, changing up lifestyle, changing up the way you worked. And then you had this rapid change, didn't you? Tell everybody about this growth that you had.
Yeah, so I entered into a mastermind for 5 months, and the one key for me at the time was shifting identity versus being motivated. So it's always motivation, you know, when you go to an event. Like I used to go to event because I was also a network marketing leader. So I used to go a lot to events for that. And I was like, ooh, coming back home high, but then implementation, nothing. So I understood what it is about the identity shift. And at the time, I was like, I realized it's okay to visualize, like have a vision board of who you want to be when you be your next step, you know, not 10 steps away from today. Like the way I did it was like, okay, what could be my next step? I was like, I like to be a 6-figure coach. That would be great. And if I can become this in 1 year, I'd be the happiest woman in the world, because it means I would have achieved a lot. Like it felt for me so far away. And then I was like, oh, who is Nikky? And then I was like, oh, Nikky has more feminine for the hair, for the outfit, and the way she thinks and she behaves, because I was so much my young energy and also driving motorcycle and like a guy, you know. Really? So I was like, okay, yeah.
I can't imagine you driving a motorcycle.
Yeah, it's funny. So I was like, okay, how will I dress up? And I did a photo shoot. And with those photos, I was like, ooh, it's hot. Those pictures of me are quite feminine, you know. I was like, oh, is that me really? And of course, it was my body.
By the way, she looks stunning. So beautiful.
Thank you. So I've done this photo, and what happened is my brain started to accept that this was me. So that was in Bali when I've done my first photo shoot to reach the 6 figures. And so then I started my business, and I put this photo on my Facebook banners, because I'm always on Facebook. For me, I'm using Facebook a lot. So every time I connect to Facebook, I see beautiful Nikky, 6 figures, you know, coach, the way she looks, the way she behaves, the way she does business. And I was like, oh, this is me. Even though inside me, I was so far away from that. Like I was very far away from that. So I think my brain started to accept that I could become this or receive this. And yeah, this identity shift was a big thing for me, because I had a balance, masculine and feminine energy. I've done a lot of work with therapists, a lot of therapists for my brain, for my soul, with my spiritual master in Bali. I'm going to see Ketut again in February, because I'm going for a month, next year. So I'm super excited. And I started like this, like with seeing me, visualizing me arrived at a 6-figure coach, but with this, and I started to behave, implement, being. So I started to change also a little bit of how I would behave with my friends, with my family, with my people.
So it's all embodiment practices, right? So it's embodying the leader that you desired to be. So it's not just kind of constantly craving to be something. It's like, I am that person. I am that person.
And that's the yin energy being. And every day, if I had to make a decision, take a decision, create something, I will connect. Okay, I'm a 6-figure coach now. What do I decide? So that was powerful, really powerful. And then obviously I've learned from mentors with balance, masculine and feminine energy. And then I started a program, and I said, okay, I'm going to start just 1-on-1. And that was that's how I started. I did 1-on-1. And I went from selling 5K to 250K, which is a lot, in 5 months.
Yeah, she was like a rocket.
Yes. And I do not advise to follow me. I did wanted to push myself into the being and into the doing to the maximum to see what it involves as a human being, being a CEO of my business, and also into the running operational of my business, because of course I've learned a lot. And yeah, this is for me was key. That was key. And so I how do you say? I invoiced my first client in January this year. It was a 5K client. I mean, I invoiced to be honest, I invoiced in December, but I got the money. I received the money in January. So this is why I can say the money arrived in January. I was paid 5K, one client, second client, 30K. I was like, what? You remember when I told you, I said, I got this client, she wants to pay me 60K. And I was like, I can't take, this is too much money. That was crazy.
So you've done a lot of work on the receiving. So it's not just the being, but it's like the feminine energy also is working on the receiving and the ability to receive. So you've done a lot of work on that as well, haven't you?
Yeah, exactly. Because when this woman, she's like, she was very connected, very highly connected, but needed structure, and she needed more yang energy into her business. And I was able to provide that. She saw in me someone who could assist her into providing the yang energy. And so she came to me naturally and she said, oh, I need you to work with me for the next 6 months. I want to build like this business, blah, blah, blah. And she said, I'm okay to pay you 60K. And I almost threw up because I was like, so like, what the frog, you know? I was like, oh, this, what?
Too much.
Does this? Yeah. So I said, I was honest with her. I was like, I'm not ready to receive yet this. But let me think. So I was like, I gotta be fast, you know. I was like, okay, I'm okay to receive 30K. That was funny. That was a funny part. Yeah. And then because of that, I switched my receiving mode to, I've grown onto receiving. And also I was working also on the receiving mode with another coach who was a soul surgeon. It's called soul surgeon. They work on your soul. So I healed my masculine energy. I had masculine energy, but I had some damaged one.
So let's talk about healing the masculine. For somebody that's like, okay, I understand now the masculine is the doing. How do you heal this? How do you refine it and balance it out with the feminine?
Yeah, so I didn't know it was damaged, obviously, because I was not conscious about it. Yeah, I come from far. So if I've done it, anybody can know success. That's for sure. So then I realized, oh, I'm balanced. I've got masculine and feminine energy. And then I realized, well, but my masculine is damaged. And because I had patterns, I still had some patterns with that would provoke knots in my stomach. And that come from trauma, or maybe even from other generation, you know, when I wasn't born. Transgenerational. So I didn't know all this exists. So when I work with the guy, we work like in my mom, we work on my grandmother. And I was like, because I don't believe at the time, I did not believe in all that. I was so into I don't know, like yeah, it was hard for me to understand consciously. It was like, but I paid him so much money. I was like, he must be good, so I'm gonna let him do his things, you know. And he said, okay, tell me 3 things you want to heal or you like to get, you know? And I said, a better relationship with my sister, a better relationship with my biological father, because we didn't talk to each other. And I said, I like to attract a sacred man, you know, into my world, because, yeah, obviously when you're not healed into your masculine energy, you cannot attract a man or a good one. You attract toxic people. So it was like, only this? Yeah, with this, I'll be the happiest woman in the world. So we start working. I have no idea. It's a lot of talking to each other.
Yeah.
Each session, and I don't understand his magic, but it was really good. And I don't know, I think 3 weeks after I met my man that I'm with now. And that was in May early this year. So I was like, I think it's working, I told him, because I met someone.
That's beautiful. I love this. It's just, you know, previously for me, being in corporate, I was just really heavily into my masculine, but I didn't even realize. And you're conditioned by your surroundings, by your environment, and you're just, you know, for many of us, we're just taught work harder and you will get bigger results, which is just, I find that my results have got bigger since I have slowed down, created space for myself, prioritized my well-being, my health, especially after my healing journey last year. Felt like that was a massive lesson. I felt like my body was just like, hey, wait a minute, slow down, look after me. And you know, many people watching this may be feeling like watching this and thinking, actually, I haven't thought about this before, but I really could do with slowing down. Or if you're having issues with receiving money subconsciously, working on the receiving energy as well. You know, it's a thing, and it's something that we constantly work on. So I mean, obviously you've done that work, but are there practices or are there things that you do regularly even now to make sure that you're in balance?
So obviously I work with mentors into about my conscious, my brain, my soul level, obviously my other generation, but you don't have to do all this, obviously, or go to Bali. You don't have to go to do that. You can just take care of yourself. And one thing that works really well for me is hypnosis record. So I listen to hypnosis audio where they reprogram your brain, and you have some coaches you can find out there that do that. You can buy from them. I had one customized from my therapist, and who helped me to connect to my higher self and disconnect me to my little girl, damaged little girl, I'm gonna say, because this is always a little girl who is damaged in our mind. So I actually listen quite, I would say, I'd like to do it almost every day, but sometimes I forgot, but maybe once every 2 days. Yes, I listen to it. And it's a 35 minutes long one, but definitely this really helps. Those audio, because you can listen and fall asleep, or you can listen in the morning. It programs your mind. It programs your minds. So
I absolutely love those. I have a lovely hypnotist. Well, she doesn't call herself a hypnotist, but she's a therapist.
No, I don't like that. Yeah.
No, but because that's got a lot of negative connotations. But I work with one in the UK, and I worked with her when she's a business coach as well. And I worked with her, and she created some beautiful tracks for me that I would listen to reprogram. I had a real massive fear of judgment when I first started like promoting myself and being out there. It's a bold and vulnerable thing, isn't it? And then last summer when I was doing chemotherapy, all I needed to do was think about the hospital and it would make me feel sick.
Yes,
and
of course.
She made me a track that I would listen to that reprogrammed my mind to associate going there with getting better instead of going there and feeling sick. It's so powerful. It was beautiful.
Yes.
And it's just so powerful. I absolutely love this. So, and if you have ever if anybody watching this has kind of thought, oh, hypnotherapy, no, and because there's so many of those TV shows where you've got these hypnotists, it's not like that at all. It's such deep, amazing work.
To tell you something, when I was a leader in network marketing, my upline, she was a billionaire, and I think you know her because Brandy.
I know her.
She was a millionaire, very successful. And one day she told me that this is key. If you want to become a leader, you need to reprogram your brain, because the brain you have took you to where you are now. And you cannot go further if you don't change what's inside. But your brain is like 5% conscious, 95% subconscious, and you don't have access to the subconscious on your own. So imagine, and the way you operate is with the subconscious. So I was like, how come we don't know that? Because I'm only my 5% of my power. I want to take care of the 95%. So I would say this was huge for me. This was
and quite
really
often
big.
You only start working on mindset when you become an entrepreneur, because I would never thought about doing it until I started working for myself. And suddenly I realized, open a big can of worms, all my insecurities came out, and I was like, okay, I need to do something about this, right? So
exactly.
Yeah, it suddenly becomes obvious. And actually I love it. Like doing this work is just, it's so therapeutic. It's like cathartic. It's just an understanding why we feel the way we feel and why we're doing things, because of our growing up and the trauma and all that kind of stuff. It's so interesting.
There's something else I'm doing, and this is really because I have healed a lot already, that I have access to this. So this is why I advise to do a therapy first with someone who can really work on those brain trauma or damage from childhood or whatever, from school or even a teenager, because then you have access to another conscious level of consciousness. So what I have access to now, which is really helping me, I'm not there 100%, but it's definitely, it's definitely helping me. I can have access consciously to some stuff within me, which is like, let's say I'm into a situation and I have like a knot in my stomach. Let's say maybe I have a stupid argue with my partner. Let's take this as an example, because I'm like a normal person. So let's say I've got a ball and a knot in my stomach. And so what I would do is I'm going consciously access to what's in there. Before I had no access to that. Before I had to go with someone else, needed to look into my brain, what was there. But now I can go in there and dive down, and I go down myself, like tick, 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 tick. And then I'm like, okay, why is it painful? Because this happened. But why are you triggered? Because this, okay, and then why, and why, and why, and why, and I can do it alone, like you don't need anyone. And then once I'm in the bottom and I'm facing my little girl, actually, that is screaming, because it does still happen, even though I've done a lot of work, and she goes, and I'm like, it's okay, I'm here, we are okay. And then I take care of her. So this is something I find it easy. I mean, it's not easy to do still, but it's feasible now for me that I had no access to when I had so much trauma or drama not taken care of in my head. And that work was, I'm quite known within my French audience for doing this work, from speaking about it also, because I did the challenge. Remember the 365 days Facebook challenge? Yeah. So I was able to share every day, like what I was going through. And I was like, oh, this would be great memory in the future. Yeah. And I was like, oh, this happened today, and this is how I handled it, and this is what I understood. And sharing consciousness. It was great. Really good.
Oh, yeah. And so this summit is all about like defining your own vision of success, because we're all on our own unique paths. We are all doing the work, whether it's mindset, anything, we're all doing, on our own journeys. What is your definition of success, Nikky?
That's such a good question. So for me, success is about not having a knot into my stomach. Yes, because I'm very sensitive, and when any emotion is so strong within my body that I can really sometimes being very nauseous or even vomit, it's crazy. Yeah, could be positive or negative emotion. To me, it's like it's super strong in my body. So I'm a very sensitive person. So now for me, success is about living the life your way. That's easy as it is. My way. And I did a post. It's funny, I did the post today, but I'm reflecting about the past 12 months, who I was as a human being. Oh my God, I've grown so much. I have more maturity, more wisdom. So my success, of course, I did great success in revenue. I mean, I'm almost 500,000. Yeah. I'm hoping to be 500,000 by the end of December. In the year one of my of building a business, without funnel, without nothing. Like I don't even have a sales page. Imagine. So that's the funniest part. But for me, success is really now it's having this life. I love traveling. I love working. I work only 3 mornings a week. Yeah. Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning, Thursday morning. That's it. My Fridays are for me or my family, my friends, or my relationship, or for traveling, or for spa day, it's for my yin energy, mainly alone. And sometimes I go with my partner on the weekend. I just come back from Île de la Réunion, which is an island next to a 3-hour flight from South Africa, so it's quite far from France. And it's great, you know, being able to be a digital run my company, my business, because now I'm working with 14 partners. I've got executive assistant. I'm growing the team. So now I'm going towards 1 million. So it's another level, obviously.
Yeah.
But before that, just being free, you know, this sense of being free geographically, because I still don't know exactly where I want to live. I've been backpacking for 15 years, traveling around the world.
Yeah.
But now I've met someone, so we are in between Bordeaux and Bassin d'Arcachon, and he loves to travel, so it's perfect. We travel together. Yeah, for me, it's the freedom. Success is the freedom to do what you want when you want, and to say no to what you don't want.
Amen to that. I love that.
It's very, you know, my mission is really this, is to help people to take their power, to be independent, to do things for sustainability and for the legacy for their kids or for generation in the future. It's not just helping them to make money, because it makes no sense. But I also want to speak about money, because money means how many people you are helping. If I do 500,000 by the end of the year, it means I'm you know, helping over 100 people within my business, and I've made an impact. When I talk about, I want to reach 1 million, 2 million, of course it's a goal, because why not? You know, some people are doing it. But once again, for those who are far away from this number, for those who made this number, they know that is revenue. It doesn't mean it's cash flow in your account.
Doesn't mean that that's a profit. And that's one thing that to be wary of.
Yes, I want to, because before I didn't understand that. I was like, I made 250K, but how much?
But what are your bills, and what is your what are the overheads? How much are you actually profiting? And people are not very honest about that. They are not.
Well, to be honest with you, when I did my 250K, my sister was like, and you're making so much money. She was very triggered by that. And I'm like, I don't even have barely enough cash to finish the month, because I invested into my mentors almost everything. What you talking about? You know, I was like trying to explain. But still is how many people you are helping. And like I'm learning now, is like, okay, focus on, first year I make 100K or six number. And second year, you make 100K in profit for the year. So you can say, okay, my first goal, or if you want to bring onto a year, but I don't like time because I go faster than time. But let's say, okay, my first goal is 100K. Okay, I've done it now. I've done much more. Now I'm focusing on how can I have 100 in profit. And my next one, so it's the next level, it's 100K into investment as a company. So that's another level in CEO business. If you start to invest, well, it's because your business is it's running well, and the operational is under control, you know. So that's also a masculine energy.
Absolutely. Oh, thank you for sharing all this, Nikky. Nikky's journey has just been so beautiful to be part of, and she's just such a wonderful soul. I love her so much. And how can people discover you? Because you've said that you're more on Facebook than Instagram. What's your account called on Facebook?
So I like simple things. So Nikky Doualle, Nikky Doualle, Doualle, and you find me my personal profile. I've got a page, but I prefer my personal profile. And I also have a group for those who speak French, but you're welcome also if you speak English, because now Facebook translates everything. And it's called La Maison International, the international house, Nikky Doualle. And this is a space they can join, but also Messenger is always the best way, because I love connection. For me, it's connected to people. So I'm always reachable. I am behind my Messenger. My assistant, she has her own account, and if she needs to be involved, then I will send it to her. But first, connection is always with me, and I take pride in responding to people their needs. Yes, personally. Lovely. And
and do you have anything to offer anybody that's watching this?
Yes, of course, because I speak English, and I'm quite famous for what is called laser coaching. So a laser coaching is you come with a problem. You pick maybe you're blocked into your business, and you can come. and I unlock you. So this is my spiritual magic, because I didn't speak too much about it, but after doing all this work, I connected to some kind of superpower. So what we will do is I will unlock you and give you clarity on what's your next step, or where to focus, so you can move forward in your business for 90 days and really connect to your success. And I'm going to offer 3 for you. Usually people pay me more than €1,000 for 1 hour, and I'm happy to offer 30-minute session with 3 people that send me in Messenger.
Ooh, okay, that is a wonderful, wonderful offer there. So Nikki's going to drop her link for this into the comments of the video. So yeah, it's first come, first served. And
yes, I'm going to do a Calendly so they can connect.
You're gonna absolutely love this. Oh, thank you so much for your time, Nikki. It's been absolutely wonderful just to kind of relive and talk about the whole journey. And yeah, thank you so much. I think this has been really kind of illuminating and just eye-opening as well for somebody watching this who isn't really in touch with the yin and yang, but knows that things don't feel good, because we know that when things aren't feeling good. I think this has been such an eye-opener and an inspiration. So thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you to the audience. Just to recap, remember, number 1, always keep faith. Faith has been my energy. Never quit on yourself. That's number 1. Number 2, be honest with yourself. If you have a knot in your stomach and there's a decision you need to make, yes, freedom is behind this decision, just so you know. Doesn't mean it's easy to walk on those fire stuff, but you can do it. Be brave, and fill up your vase first. So put yourself first so you can give, because we tend as women to give, and we are empty vases inside, and we give and we have no energy, and then we go cuckoo, we go crazy, and people around us look at us like crazy. Absolutely. So those are the 3 steps you can take away. And I'm with you, I believe anybody can do what I've done, definitely.
Merci.
Avec plaisir.
Oh, okay.
Bisous.
Yeah, bisous. I'll see you soon, Nikki. Thank you again. This has been wonderful. Okay, everybody, I hope you enjoyed that. And Nikki's going to drop the link for that hot seat laser coaching. First come, first serve, first 3, and you will love it. Thank you, Nikki. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye for now.
Bye.